Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. This past Tuesday, October 18th, 2016, it was reported that NYPD in New York City shot a 66-year-old woman because she had a baseball bat in her hands and because she was mentally ill. This is the story. What I'm going to show you in this video is that this is pure propaganda. This woman does not exist. This shooting never happened. This story is made purposefully to provoke the population with the hopes of getting a reaction from the population so that that reaction, that person, that group of people can become statistics in an ongoing agenda, and very likely those people end up filling up a vacancy in a newly opened prison cell that's for profit. We are living out an agenda right now in the media with all of these shootings being reported that are truly made to provoke. There is an agenda called Blue Lives Matter, which almost every state's looking at, to further militarize police, to employ more police. And that is the true purpose of these stories, to get people to act out so that police can say they have threats against them, they need to militarize, they need more armor, higher powered weapons. And this is how they're doing it, by making stories of them needlessly killing people. And the other part of this story is also to pound home the message that police can do no wrong, police are the authority, don't mess with the police, you might get shot, and that'll be the end of it. How many stories have we seen like this where the police officers get acquitted? Just making everybody angrier than they already were. So we're going to talk about why they said this woman's 66 years old in this fictional story. This is a woman with a baseball bat in the Bronx, home of the Yankees, the team that has won the most World Series ever. This story comes in the time of October, the baseball month, the World Series month. The Yankees used to have a player called Mr. October. Clutch with the baseball bat. So anyway, check this out. There is a number used often in propaganda. It's 33, the master teacher number. In the language of gematria, teacher equals 33. Special number, just like the words you see on the screen, sum to 33. Masonry equals 33. Freemasonry, fixated on the number 33. It is Freemasonry that runs this nation, runs government, runs police, runs media. These numbers are symbolic. TM for trademark. T's the 20th letter, M's the 13th, TM is 33. This number is a trademark to this game. Masonry 33, secrecy 33, order 33, federal, police, race war, black lives, all 33. And what Black Lives Matter is controlled opposition within this agenda. It has been created to suck people into so that against their own interest they can become part of this narrative. Like all the people who went to Dallas on July 7th, to peacefully protest, and there ended up being a shooting. Supposedly, 5 police officers died. And then the shooter ran off, and they sent a robot after him that supposedly blew him up. What happened in Dallas was complete propaganda, just like the events that sparked the protest, the news the day earlier of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile. Those videos from Louisiana and Minnesota of officers supposedly shooting these young black unarmed men. In this story, the woman is also black, which it mentions in the article. So anyway, this is all part of an agenda. All of this agenda is contrived propaganda by the numbers coded with the language of gematria again and again. I'm going to show you how this woman's name syncs up with the date and more. October is the only month with 33 gematria. When you write out 33, it sums to 66. This is an important pairing in this study. The Bible, which is coded with gematria, originally written in Hebrew, which was a language based on letters and numbers, the original Hebrew language that the Old Testament's in, written based in a language based on gematria, just like English is, except for it's a secret from we the people who speak it. Anyway, the first book of the Bible's Genesis, the first book of the Old Testament, written in Hebrew, the language based on gematria, again. Most Bibles are 66 books in length. The first book, 33, 66 books in length. The New Testament, which the Christians go by, is 27 books. Matthew, the first book in the New Testament, equals 27. So much more in the Bible. But anyway, Just establishing the significance of these numbers 33 and 66. They also said this was a woman. The word woman has gematria of 66. Police officer shooting an elderly woman with mental illness. Again, this is coming during the month of the World Series. World Series has a gematria connection to 66. We saw the San Francisco Giants win the World Series in 2014, exactly 66 days after the worst earthquake in San Francisco since the 89 World Series earthquake. 66 days after. USGS equals 66. What measures earthquakes? Don't forget, this nation had an underground nuclear weapons testing program for half a century. It might still be ongoing. These people have been taking all of our money and working mad science with it. Don't kid yourselves that they would take this money with their underground nuke testing program and purposefully plant nukes underground along faults to trigger them for man-made earthquakes and rituals. These people are that insane. That's the problem with we truth seekers. We look so insane just for explaining how insane the people are that govern over us. But you pay attention, it becomes impossible to deny. Go watch the footage of that earthquake. Just before it happened, what was shown was Jose Canseco rounding the bases on a home run from the game the night earlier. Number 33, pumping his fists at home plate with 33. That's exactly when the earthquake starts. Exactly when that was shown to all audiences throughout the nation. And don't forget what that earthquake was. It was the Bay Area quake, where the two World Series teams were the Oakland Athletics and the San Francisco Giants. And the World Series won the next year was by the Kansas City Royals, who participated in the World Series in 2014 as well. The Kansas City team was originally from Oakland. A lot of people probably don't know that. Just like the Giants, once from New York. New York used to have 4 baseball teams. Giants, Dodgers, and then the 2 that are still there, Mets and Yankees. So anyway, with regards to baseball bats, a key element in the story, this woman supposedly had a baseball bat in the Bronx in the time of the baseball playoffs. Baseball bat equals 77, like police officer, like police department. The 7-7 police officer shooting in Dallas. Dallas equals 49, the product of 7 times 7. Shooting came 49 days from the mayor's birthday. The police chief that was on the screen for a month straight after the shooting, his name 49. 49 city in Dallas where it equals 49, which connects with these 77s. If you write out September 11th as words, it sums to 77 too. The day Flight 77 hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon on the 77th meridian exactly 77 minutes after taking off. 8:20 to 9:37 in the 9/11 Commission report. Anyway, 77, special number to the coding of these routine propaganda events involving police. They said the killing happened on a 7th floor apartment. You know, baseball bats, 7th floor, 7th inning stretch in baseball. I'm reminded of this Masonic phrase, order out of chaos. You know, creating a problem to present the solution as our government does. They use our police, paid for with our taxpayer dollars in their agenda, creating the needless chaos, such as having fake shootings, sparking a reaction from the public, then staging another fake shooting as they did in Dallas. Very systematic. Order out of chaos equals 777. You know, 7th floor, 77. You see what I'm saying? Think about those London 777 bombings. Here's another good one. Bronx Bombers in gematria. The nickname for the Yankees equals 147, just like police. And I can't help but think how they both wear navy blue. And I can't help but think how the first Blue Lives Matter bill signed was May 26, 2016, the 147th day of the year. A bill that a lot of other states are looking at. Let's read CNN's reporting. The New York Police Department failed when an officer killed a 66-year-old mentally ill woman who attacked him with a baseball bat in a Bronx apartment, Police Commissioner James O'Neill said Wednesday. We do have policies and procedures for handling emotionally disturbed people, and it looks like that some of those procedures weren't followed, O'Neill said during a speech to the Citizens Crime Commission, the CCC, see the third letter, the 333, in Manhattan. Home of 9/11, something planned for at least 33 years, 68 to 2001. What is clear in this one instance is we failed. Well, not only does it have the CCC 333 initials, Citizen Crime Commission equals 119, like All-Seeing Eye, like Star of David, like Master Plan. I wonder what really went on at this conference, you know? Probably planning out the next hoax by the numbers. Next week, it'll probably be a 99-year-old woman named Baby Ruth, who was mentally ill and a conspiracy theorist. Some more reporting. Mayor Bill de Blasio, who's a paid-for propaganda agent, just like all of our politicians, said deadly force should only be used in dire situations. The shooting of Deborah Danner, let's not forget this Deborah Danner name, I'm going to show you how it connects to the date of the incident, is tragic, and it never should have happened, de Blasio said Wednesday afternoon. It's as simple as that. This press conference was the day after the shooting. The shooting Tuesday, the news Wednesday. Officers went to the apartment around 6 p.m. Tuesday after a neighbor called 911 about a woman acting in an irrational manner, Assistant Chief Larry W. Nikunin said. Police had visited the apartment on similar calls in the past, de Blasio said. A sergeant entered the 7th floor apartment and encountered the woman who was armed with scissors, but he persuaded her to put them down. You know, imagine if you were in a situation and you were trying to help an elderly woman and she had scissors. What do you think you would do? Even if, let's say you even had a gun on your hip. What do you think the odds are if you as a human being would pull out that gun and shoot her? Don't you think you would probably, more than likely, just try to avoid the situation, get away from it? You know, who shoots a 66-year-old woman? Especially when you're supposed to know that she has a problem as you're arriving. But that's why they do this. To piss people off, to get the reaction. They know a lot of people are fed up in this world. They're trying to take advantage of that. They're trying to make people statistics in the agenda. The woman, you know, I just want to point this out over here. In Gematria, Major League Baseball equals 162. There's a 162 game season in Major League Baseball. MLB also sums to 162 in Sumerian Gematria, English Gematria, Satanic Gematria. It has all those different names. So 162, a relevant name. I'm looking at this clip for the video, which we could watch, but I mean, I've showed you enough propaganda. We don't need to see it. We know how bogus it is. Anyway, notice this. 2 minutes is 120 seconds, 60 seconds plus 60, plus 42 more, 162 seconds. Major League Baseball, 162. MLB. Story that's all propaganda and a tribute to the baseball playoffs and the winningest team ever, the New York Yankees from the Bronx. The closing paragraph. The woman then grabbed a baseball bat and attempted to hit the sergeant, Nikunin said. The officer fired 2 shots, striking the woman in the torso. He said she died of her injuries after being taken to Jacobi Medical Center. So, all of these words have Gematria 44. Shooting, officer, kill. We see these all the time reported in the shootings. This woman's name was Deborah Danner. Initials of DD. D's the 4th letter. DD's 44. The date this happened, October 18th, 2016, a date with 44 numerology. 18, the word baseball, the small way, also equals 18. Major baseball tribute here. The emphasized word at the top was failed. 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 It was a date with a life lesson number of 37. Perhaps that's why they're giving us this story. Failed police conduct meant to provoke. It was also a date with 64 numerology. And the name Deborah Danner in Gematria sums to 64. So does civil rights. Civil rights 64. Deborah Danner 64. Black woman needlessly being shot and murdered. So we're told. She was also killed by the NYPD, which has Gematria 59, number negatively stamped on black people throughout history, also a number connected to killing. All the elements come here. Officer shoots unarmed elderly black woman. They bring up how he had a taser, but he didn't use it. You know, we've read so many stories like this. So I'll link this post if you want to read the rest of it. But you get the point. I mean, this is how they code the propaganda. These are the tributes. Here's what else. You pay attention, you use the language of Gematria, you see how often we are provoked by the same numbers again and again. Yesterday in Chicago, protest for the death of Laquan McDonald, who was supposedly shot 2 years ago in October by Chicago police. Recall, last year, 2015, at this time, we got the story of 2 teens being killed in Chicago a year earlier in 2014. They were Ronald Johnson and Laquan McDonald. Ronald McDonald, Chicago is where McDonald's is headquartered, in the suburb just outside. At the same time we got those propaganda stories, why did we get them a year later, when they'd happened a year earlier? Why did we just hear about them both all of a sudden in 2015 when the stories were a year old? And also at that same time, we got another propaganda shooting out of San Bernardino, where supposedly the Middle Eastern married couple inspired by ISIS shot up their work party for Thanksgiving. In San Bernardino, where the first McDonald's restaurant was opened, Ronald Johnson, Laquan McDonald, San Bernardino. So anyway, check this out. The protest for this was yesterday, put on by Black Lives Matter. Date was 66 numerology. For Laquan McDonald, both names, Laquan and McDonald, equals 66. Protest on a very fitting date. This is also coming from Chicago. The Cubs trying to break the curse of the Billy Goat. Could be a coincidence there, but also possibly not. Perhaps when Chicago's in the World Series, which I've been saying they're going to be in since spring training and even last baseball season, I was talking about the curse in 108 years. Major League equals 108. 108 stitches on a baseball. Curse 108 years old this year. Last year, the Cubs won last night. Starting pitcher, 108 pitches. I documented how the first game they won, it was the home run on the 108th pitch. The people who control your news media, your police, these Freemasons, they control your sports leagues, and they've scripted everything by this numerical code. It's all part of a web. So perhaps if Chicago's in the World Series, some incident is staged to bring further attention to this. Possible. Might be why we're getting the Bronx bombers clue. Then again, a lot of times they're just given tributes by the numbers because it's festive for the season, like secret rituals for these people. Here's supposed to be when it happened, October 20th, 2014. Notice how the image put out by CNN, I didn't freeze it here. This is just how it was on their screen. If you wanted to watch the video, this is what they had up. They showed the time 9:57 with 33 seconds. We talked about 33, number of the race war, police, provoking. If you've ever seen this video, it's so fake. It's just so ridiculous. You can tell it's a completely fictional shooting, propaganda news. Nobody died here. This is a hoax. If you're out protesting for this, you need to wake up. Police get away with a lot of wrongdoing. You don't hear about their wrongdoing, though. When they shoot and kill people, it doesn't make the news. When they want to provoke you with a made-up story, that's when you hear about it. But anyway, the 57th minute's also interesting because World Series equals 57. Talking about the Chicago Cubs, the CC, the 33, who are going to be playing the team from Cleveland, Cleveland Indians. So here, I'll show you a little bit something else about that news last year with the tribute to McDonald's. All of this news came last year. San Bernardino, Ronald Johnson, Laquan McDonald, 31 years after the McDonald's massacre in San Ysidro, 1984. 31 years later. McDonald's in Pythagorean gematria sums to 31. 31. Their emblem's M, the 13th letter. 13, the reflection of 31, Some people say when you write a McDonald's on its side, it looks like 13. If you haven't seen my work on the McDonald's San Ysidro massacre, it happened July 18th. 18/7, a lot like 187, the homicide code in California. It happened exactly 187 days after the death of Ray Kroc, who opened the first McDonald's in San Bernardino. He died January 14th that year, 1984. 114, January 14th. San Bernardino, 114. Anyway, 187 days after his death, a shooting on 18/7, a massacre at a McDonald's, where McDonald's is headquartered, Oak Park, Illinois, that equals 187. Or is it Oak Brook, Illinois? Look up where McDonald's is headquartered, type in their name, do the gematria practice, and verify yourself. It equals 187. Go look up every detail I've told you. You'll see it's all accurate. 187, the homicide code in California coated all over the McDonald's massacre, synced up with the death of the man who made McDonald's what it was. Then 31 years later, another McDonald's riddle in 3 propaganda shootings. The agenda's always been going on for as long as this nation's been with us. Propaganda has always been created by the numbers to steer the nation for the sake of agenda, from entering into wars to submitting liberties. This is how it's been done. Show you some other things about McDonald's and their trademarks. Those letters MC in Jewish gematria are 33. McDonald's. Again, 33, the number of Freemason obsession. They just trademarked this phrase, the simpler, the better. Sums to 228, like United States of America. And 93, number of propaganda, number of keeper of time, special number to the occult, number of esoteric power. The word death also has gematria of 228. And with regards to United States of America, this is a nation that was created out of a genocide and has been at war almost every year since. This is a nation that has spread war and weapons all over the world. One of our main exports as a nation is weapons and corn. It's like what we're doing in the United States. We're growing corn and we're making weapons. And we're feeding everybody processed food, made out of corn parts. Are you loving it, Truth Seeker? The McDonald's Golden Arches, 666. Happy Meals. Happy has that gematria of 66, like McDonald. Like how when you write out 33, it comes back to 66. Golden Arches, the small way, 66. Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible. The one that made 666 infamous. So many logos and symbols, if you break them down, they're full of the numbers. Got milk, that equals 33. Any surprise? Dairy consumption, one of the most cancer-causing things you can consume. Dairy consumption connected to osteoporosis, breast cancer, many other cancers. And notice each year with the cancer research that somehow raises millions and millions every year but never makes any headway, those pink ribbons are on dairy products. You don't think the powers of the bee know? It's all part of the grand mocking. Fake news, poisonous food, lies and deception, steering us for agenda. And people getting played by all of it, and they are loving it. They're loving it. So it has to change. Until next time, Truth Seeker. Encore forgot to mention something important. Notice the date he was shot, October 20th, 2014. 10 plus 20 is 30, plus 14 is 44. Like officer, like shooting, like kill. It's exactly like the date of the woman who was shot in the Bronx this year. Remember, 10 plus 18, October 18th, plus 16, 44. And then if you add the other 20, 64. Which brings us back to civil rights. You follow the patterns, it's always the same in this propaganda. It's a religion, the way these Freemasons code these stories. These numbers and doing things ritualistically this way, they're the biggest giveaway of what's really going on. You learn this knowledge, it's undeniable. Until next time.